What's up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you again for tuning in and welcome back to Ghost One More Mod. Today I'm comparing 3 different foggers from 3 different manufacturers at 3 different price points. Kinda. Maybe. You'll find out. Maybe you already have a fogger, you just want to see how they compare, or maybe you're still undecided or on the fence and just see how these stack up. The only way to find out is to have a shootout. Let's go fog off. All right, first and foremost, I want to start off by saying 2 things. First of all, none of these foggers are sponsored. No one has sent me these to display or promote. All 3 of these foggers have been purchased separately and by separate people. I bought one of these, sight unseen, and then 2 other people that I would like to kindly thank, and that is Mr. Rizzy and Mr. Wilson, 2 awesome people from my local Ghostbusters group, Charm City Ghostbusters. Thank you for making this possible for the viewers. So if you appreciate this video that I'm doing for you guys, I would kindly like for you to hit the like button, show appreciation to the video, and also to the 2 people who kindly lent these foggers to me. Some of them have not even seen them like unboxed. They just gave it straight to me. So this is the first time they're going to see their own fogger on video is when you're seeing it. I will let you know which fogger was actually mine at the end of the video. I want to be as neutral and unbiased as possible. I know you guys appreciate these comparison videos I've done with my proper suit versus Magnolia suit, my Magnolia belt versus the Tools and Talent Props belt, and so I want to do the same justice here and do the same thing for you. So I want you to go into the mindset of being neutral and unbiased as well. Let's start unboxing some foggers. All right, first one up is Wasteland Industries. Inside here we have important safety tip, Egon. So some stuff to read about basically, you know, don't get fog in your eyes. Speaking of fog, we have our refilled liquid, and different manufacturers have had fun with their liquid, giving it interesting names, and Wasteland Industries named their fog liquid. So their fog liquid is their fog liquid. Inside of here, this appears to be... Oh, I'm guessing this is something that we'll have to... This is where we'll put our juice, the atomizer that we'll screw into. So these are probably going to look very similar all throughout the other foggers. Essentially, you just take this top part right here, take this cap off, and then you're going to fill this in. And when you do, and this will be for all 3, is when you put the juice in, you put it down at an angle. You're not going to drip it straight down into that cylinder inside of there. You're just going to make sure it's dripping down the sidewall, just so you don't flood it. One interesting thing, actually 2 interesting things about Wasteland Industries, is this is the only fogger that when you go to buy it, that the pedal switch for the trap is a la carte. So for the Right Coast Props and for the C&A Props design, that pedal switch is included. For this, that is an add-on. So that's what makes the Wasteland Industries technically the cheapest option, is because you can forego that. If you're just like, hey, I'm fine with just a remote, and speaking of remote, here is the remote. If you're fine just with a remote, then this might come in as the cheapest option for you. And this is their pedal switch here. And I'm going to install this here in just a moment, and we're going to see if there's any differences between the different foggers on the installation process. So we have that. What else goodies did they give us? A piece of rubber. Interesting. QR code, it says to scan to download the user manual. I might do that here off camera. And assuming this is their business card to their Etsy shop, a no-go sticker, and a Stay Puft sticker. So very nice of them. So enough talk. I think I want to, oh wait, the fogger. You don't really care about the fogger. All right, so Wasteland Industries. First thing right off the bat is you'll see that it is an open air lid design. It is not sealed. Well, so there are even some vents on the bottom there for airflow. But besides that, you'll notice that some of the other foggers coming up actually do have some type of closure. Whether it's on the side or the top, I forget, we'll look into that. But this is exposed, so you're gonna see the wiring, you're gonna see the fan, and then a battery, which we'll see what kind of battery we need to get, but a battery goes there. So at this point, I wanna show you how to fill it up and install it and get our comparison going. Here we go. Okay, we're gonna take our fog liquid, our literal fog liquid. And we can leave that on for now. That's off. And then as we fill this, ooh, get a little spillage. And what we're gonna do is make sure we put it against the side. And I think they said not to fill up more than 95%. And I'm just gonna leave it at that for now. Screw that back down. Grab our fogger here, and this right here, this little wall will pull straight up, and this whole thing just lifts up. We should be able to then screw this on here. Nice and tight. This goes obviously under the fan. So we'll stick that under the fan, and that's all there is to that. There's not really much any other way it goes in. I'm just gonna make sure it's down all the way. It's under the fan, wires are down. So I'm just gonna go check to see what battery we need for this. Hi. You know in school, they would give you that test and would have like these different things for you to do. And then at the very bottom, it said, don't do any of these things, and we'll test if you actually read all the instructions first. I wasn't good at those. So here is the QR code that said, you know, for the manual. I would have realized what I need for this. There are no batteries included with the Wasteland Industries. That goes for both the fogger and also for the trap pedal trigger. So there are 2 batteries are required for that, which I found out are 2032s. So I had to go get some 2032s. Had to pick them up. And then for the battery, I want to make sure I'm saying this right. It states that it needs a RCR123 3.7 volt battery, specifically stating not to buy a CR123A 3 volt battery, as they will not provide sufficient power. Just based off where I am, my local Target, Walmart, all they had was CR123s. So this RCR, which is basically a rechargeable type of battery, I ordered off Amazon. I got it. And it's from a company called Nightcore, which was one of the brands that Wasteland recommends, and Amazon sent me the wrong battery. So I have to return that. So then I reordered, and I made sure that I got specifically an RCR123 battery, Nightcore 16340. Holy smokes. And now to recharge this battery, I have to get a charger. So personally, this is no longer the cheapest option. I'm about $26, $27 more in the hole, but that's okay, because that's what I do this for you guys, so you guys are self-aware. So I'm going to charge this up. That way, hopefully we can make some smoke. All right, finally have a fully charged battery. I just need to make sure that the positive here goes into the positive. There is a slight marking right there. Please fit. Good. Okay. I still find it that there's no on-off switch. So I guess just whenever you're done with this, just pull out the battery. Let's see if we have smoke. Here we go. Yes, we do. Nice amount. It's very dispersed, but I think that's just because it's just this open design. It just comes out. All right. Now that we have that working, I'm going to now show you how to incorporate this type of pedal switch into the trap. I'm going to show this time, and then if there are other foggers that vary in steps, then I will just show that particular part. I don't want to show the full installation all 3 times and uninstall all 3 times. I just want to show any differences, but for this one, I am going to run you through it. I finally figured out what this rubber piece was during the unboxing, and referring to the instructions here is that they include this for taking off these 2 bottom feet, which was, I was ready to go using another method with the painter's tape that you've probably seen in other videos, which works perfectly fine. You just take this and I think just kind of squeeze and pull, that pops off. I'll use this rubber strip for doing the other installs. So those are the only 2 feet that you have to take off, and then you just take out these 2 screws here, and then there are 6 other, and that is pretty much how you get the base of the trap off. So there is 1, 2. Once you get that 8th nut off, you'll see this little silver nut here at the bottom. Use that as leverage. Pop this up. It will come loose and just pop out, but that is how we get the base off. All these traps are relying on this little, I don't want to call it a button, maybe nipple, if you will, but this little circle here that protrudes, and all the designs are basically using some type of 3D printed circle here. So what we're going to do is we're going to find the best way to kind of get the wires to go through this little cutout here so they don't get pinched. So we're going to put that 3D piece there, route the wires, and in the instructions they show to put this little switch here, which I need to get my 2032s in there now. Get my 2032s in there, and then we will seat this down inside that circle. So for the Wasteland Industries, the battery must go in this order. So the positive facing up near the back, and near the oval or the round part, this will be up like that. So positive facing up here, negative down here. We will close this up. Give this a test here. There is a very tiny on-off switch right there, which I'm curious, does that mean you have to take, if that is to go there, I guess you have to take the trap apart to flip it to the off switch? That's what they're showing here. They're showing this to get mounted there. So I'm not sure what the point of the on-off switch is, but we'll turn that on. Just wiggle that down a little bit. Obviously you won't be using painter's tape, but I'm doing this just for this because I need to undo this. So when I do the next one, I won't be using up that double-sided tape. So obviously this is just for this video, just for me, so I can remove this so I can do the next trap comparison video for you. But I would probably route these wires up here, make sure they get safely tucked into here, and this out of the way here, All right, everything is finally lined up. I am not going to bother putting in the screws for me because I'm just going to be taking them back out in a couple minutes. Obviously, you would put those 6 screws back in, and then remember to put the 2 screws in and then the caps that you removed. So I'm just going to put this down here and now connect the hose for effect. This just drops in. All right, here is the first pedal push with Wasteland Industries Fog Kit. Not bad, not bad. All right, now moving on to the Phantasm Fogger by Right Coast Props. You may be aware, you may not be aware, but Right Coast Props was actually the first one to market for a fogger for the Ghost Trap for 2 in the box. And this is not only the first to market, it's also the most expensive of all 3 that I am comparing. So inside we have, this is the roasted marshmallow, so some refill juice. Inside here we have another bag, and inside this bag is another bag. Actually 2 bags. 2 bags. In the first one here, it looks like we have the remote with a number on the back and a USB-A to USB-C cable. And in that second bag, we have something with an LED on here. I should probably know this. This obviously is the pedal switch. And in here, this is a battery tray, and right off the bat, that looks like AAAs. So their battery compartment, AAAs, and then this is another form of a switch. So you can already tell there are more pieces to the puzzle with the Phantasm Fogger. And last but not least, defogger. And here it is up close. You can see that this top here is sealed. We have a vent, which I believe is rear facing. Interesting. This is a rear-facing vent. Oh, and on the back here, I get it. Phantasm Fogger. They've got look at that. They've got their their numbers matching for which one you got. So matching remotes with the fogger with their little serial numbers, and I believe this comes apart on the side here. Thought it's this side. These have magnets, and these magnets are strong. It wasn't hard to take off, but that took some force. You'll see some little cutouts here on the top and bottom, which make it easy to align. Very slick. We have an on-off switch right here at the top, as well as the USB-C to recharge it. Let me take a look in here again and kind of see how this is laid out. Okay, so clearly here we have the fan. This is the rechargeable battery. This is, wait, is that already filled? Look at that. That is already filled for us. That is already filled for us. So theoretically, if I turn this on and just use this remote right now, am I able to produce smoke? Something that I did not think is going to be criteria of this review, which I didn't even nothing. The roasted marshmallow. Holy shit. That I just realized that giving that a scent makes this a different. It's another level. It makes it a different sensory. So this is not just visual now, but it adds another element. Roasted marshmallow. It smells good. I don't think you're supposed to inhale this, but I'm doing this for science and for you guys. So yeah, very interesting design. The battery here. Clearly this is, let's see, the pump here, atomizer, and then here up here is the fan, and so this looks like this goes to the chute, and that shoots up, and that's why it is rear facing. I like this magnet. I mean, that's not coming off. All right, so I got a bunch of pieces here that I need to put together. Gonna go back to the pedal, and we're gonna see how. I can already tell this is going to vary. There's just more pieces of the puzzle here. So this is one of the more expensive, this is the most expensive kit. And clearly there is a lot more going on. So we are going to put that together now. All right, so I have removed the parts from the previously installed Wasteland, but this is where it already starts to differ. So I put this aside, and now what we need to do is we need to remove these 4 screws on the relay side of this panel. All right, with these 4 screws removed, we should just be able to pull up and set this aside. Now, in order to utilize that power switch, we have to relocate the relay to the front-facing horizontal instead of vertical. So I'm just going to quickly undo this now. And this is basically like one of those awesome little things that Haslab was like, hey, we're going to give the customers something to tinker with at their leisure, whether they want to go for an 84 style or Afterlife style. And I think that's really cool when they give like those different little features to the customers where they can, if you're not really into modding, but you just want to kind of make it your own, they did that for them. So we'll take that off there. I will put that, typically I would put this on here now, but because I don't know what's going on with the third install, I'm just gonna leave this to the side. So I'm gonna feed my power switch down through there. You can just use the existing screws and put this back on top. So I'll turn this over, and it appears that they want us to double side tape here, and then double side tape about here. And once again, I'm not going to do the actual double siding because this will just be coming out. So I'll have to get creative here and just figure out how to securely put this temporarily for the demo. But I definitely want to get this LED, this blue LED, to go through this hole here. So just going to push that down very carefully. And they say that you can use a small tool, but not to do too much pressure. I think you just need to just visually see it. So if you need to get like a little hook tool or a small screwdriver, you could do so and just kind of push it down just to make sure it's in there and seated. I'm not going to go crazy because I'm just removing this here in a couple minutes. Alright, I have that temporarily taped down, so hopefully it won't go anywhere for the demo. And now we're going to get our battery compartment. Got 3 AAAs here. One of these connectors is going to go into the LED, which I believe is going to be the large female into the small male. And then the small female into the large male, which is for the board. Okay, I can set this aside, and now we're going to work on the pedal switch, which should look very familiar to the previous one. We're going to do essentially the same thing. I like how these wires personally come straight up. The Wasteland ones came out to the left and right, and didn't give really a lot of clearance. So there's our little button right there. We're going to do the same thing that we did before. Should just be a hole, and then push down. That's a good pressure fit. And it's not going anywhere. So all we need to do now is route the wires to the right, and we will get ready for reassembly. So back to our relay cover. What we need to do, just pop that apart. Okay, so now we're going to take our relay plate and feed it through the battery compartment here. And then these 2 little outlines here, right there, will go into those poles. So put that there, we'll seat that down, and that stays in place. At this point, we are ready to take the pedal switch that we got. We can invert that, and then we will plug this into the board. And as you put this together, just make sure that there aren't any wires that appear to be getting pinched. Looks good. The instructions do note here that an updated version of this kit now uses CR2032 batteries instead of AAAs. So since I think this was a slightly earlier production model, it is using AAAs. If you get this probably, I would say, after spring 2025, you will probably have the 2032 batteries. So that just goes in there like that. And then we can put our cover back on and push that in. And then you would put your screws in here. I'm probably only going to put 1 or 2 in just because I gotta take it back out for the next one. All right, I think we are ready for our maiden pedal trap fog with the Right Coast props. So we'll go into service mode. We will open that up. We will put our phantom fogger in there. We close the trap, and we turn on our pedal switch that we installed. We should get a blue LED light. Now, the cool thing about this is you're asking, why did we have all that extra parts and that circuit board in here? That's because with the Right Coast Props Phantasm Fogger, there is multiple modes that you can choose to go from. And what I'm going to demo is actually not mode 1, but mode 2. The reason why I'm doing mode 2 is this is going to be the most similar, or the more apples to apples comparison against the Wasteland Industries, and also the next one I'm going to show you, the C&A Props design. And that's when you push down the pedal, this opens up and fog comes out. That's actually mode 2. I'm going to show you how to get into mode 2. And in order to do that, I'm going to actually turn that off. You have the trap off, so when you push this, the doors don't open. This blue LED, you're gonna hold this pedal down for about 8 Mississippi seconds until you see 2 flashes, and then you'll release. So 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi, 4 Mississippi, 5 Mississippi, 6 Mississippi, 7 Mississippi, 8 Mississippi. We should get a 1, 2 right now. 1, 2, I'll release. Now we're in mode 2. The trap is on, I push down, fog should come out initially when the trap opens in 3, 2, 1, and there we go. A healthy amount of fog, nice and thick. looks good. And then to stop it, we just hit that again. Obviously, I waited too long for the trap closed by itself, but that is a residual fog. And very simple to go into mode 1, which I'm going to show you now. You can just toggle this pedal switch off and then back on, and that'll light up blue. Now what we're going to do is actually very cool. This will kind of be more simulating an 84 mode. So when I hit this, no fog will come out when the door is open. It's just going to do its normal sequence of events. It's once you press it again to close the doors, then fog is going to come out like you've captured the ghost and it's just kind of emitting. And it's a very cool effect because you kind of see it come out the sides here, and it creates a very low floor fog. Let me show you right now. So no fog. This is just the residual stuff from a couple seconds ago. I'll close it. So now it's going to fog, and it has an auto timer for about 20 seconds. So doors are closed. It's doing its beeping sequence. It's creating fog right now. And you can kind of just see it emitting. And it'll auto shut off here in the next couple seconds on a timer. But that is a very cool effect of it just kind of coming out of the trap. Like if you were holding it up. I think that is super clever. And that's what you get with the extra parts and the circuitry with the Right Coast props. We are going to check out C&A Prop Designs. They call theirs the Ecto Emitter. And inside their box, first thing I see is their juice, which is called I believe it's called Ecto Elixir. It looks like they kind of gave it a little bit of a green dye to it. Just for looks, it's not going to have a different color smoke. So another remote on off. All of these remotes, I believe they have been identical thus far. This must be their pedal switch, which looks very simplistic. This casing right here looks to be just completely 3D printed. I'm guessing this pops off. That's just a lid. And that is some circuitry here, I'm guessing. Well, they included a battery, so I appreciate that. The wiring here, looking at the wiring, I'm just a little slightly concerned about it's the thinnest of the wiring I've seen of the two thus far, but that may not mean anything. And then in here we have their Ecto Emitter, and as you can see, all three of them are having this basic, rectangular with a little block cutout design. That is very similar. On the bottom here, they have their logo, the Ecto Emitter, little sticker on the bottom. I see some venting, so that is a little different. Another standout feature, couple things. This one as well has a USB-C charging port. This one as well also has an on-off switch. Opening this up. This one, okay, so a couple things here. In the inside of the door, we see C&A, which is kind of cool. This is not magnetic based. This side here just appears to be friction based, which it appears to be fine. It doesn't feel like it's gonna come off at all. Feels like it's solid. So it appears that we also have to, just like the Wasteland Industries, we have to put in our atomizer and fill that with some liquid. So it's the same process. I'm gonna do that now, and then we will do a quick fog with the remote, just like the Wasteland Industries. It seems like we're just gonna kind of open it up. We're gonna 3M this to somewhere inside the trap, and this is gonna go in that little circle peg, like all three of them do. So I can't imagine it's gonna be that much different, but we still need to see it fog. So let's get going. One thing I want to point out is that this one is a center stack. Their fan and their vent is right dead center in the middle. So just an interesting observation. And at the end, I am going to do a side-by-side comparison of all three, but just something to point out that I don't think I mentioned right before, but just to kind of show you how this is just with the remote. We're just going to do a quick demo before we put it into the trap. So this is what it looks like with the C&A Props design just with the remote. Very bright light. I need to stop the camera, review the footage, because I don't know if that's coming out. So I did just review that clip, and you can clearly see the smoke coming out, and you can clearly see that a light is emitting from the center as well. I'm going to do one more time. I'm obviously stepping down in exposure here a little bit, so you might see this a little bit darker, but that is just because I wasn't expecting that type of light output from this little center LED. I'm still going to point this away a little bit, not to blind the camera, but I'm surprisingly digging this light. I did not think that was a feature that really mattered, but it's a cool effect. It kind of artificially enhances the fog that comes out. Now, comparing the first two, there was no issue seeing the fog because there's naturally 6 LEDs in the Haslab trap on, 3 on each side. But when you add one right where the fog is, it exacerbates like the amount of fog coming out. I don't know if there actually is more fog coming out or if it's basically just like saying, boom, there it is. But it gives that illusion, which is kind of cool, which is kind of neat. So anyway, that's a bright light. That was surprisingly bright that I had to stop down the camera. So this clip is stepped down a little bit in exposure. Hopefully that turns out a little bit better. Anyway, I'm going to turn this off, save a little bit of battery, and get the trap pedal and put in their pedal switch. All right, so here we are in a familiar position again. I have the trap disassembled with the base, and we have our pedal switch. This is going to go into that little nub, same as before. But one thing I will have to give props to, no pun intended, C&A Props design is, unlike Wasteland Industries, you'll notice that this is very similar, right? They just had something with a CR2032 battery and a switch. And although this wiring, I'm still kind of in question about, the fact is they gave us a lot more length than Wasteland Industries did. And why is that? Well, thoughtfully, what they decided to do was where like Wasteland Industries, if you remember, we kind of had to put that somewhere on this side of the bottom of the base. With C&A, once you put this in, you're actually going to take this, and they gave you enough slack where you can put this inside the door, kind of similar to the Right Coast Props. So even though there isn't as much circuitry or anything like that, the ease of access, they put enough slack where you can put that against that door. So if you have to change that battery, all you have to do is take off these 4 screws here, and you can change that battery. The Wasteland Industries, I still don't know why they put an on-off switch on their pedal switch when you would have to take the entire trap apart to turn it on or off. So anyway, that was thoughtful of them to give enough slack so you could put that into a similar spot like the Right Coast Props one. So I'm just going to simply put this on this nub and put that 3M adhere and put it on the side. Their button switch, their tolerances seem to be extremely tight. I just don't know why it's being stubborn. It's just a round peg and a round hole. And it just seems like the inner diameter maybe was just cut a little too tight. I think I got it. I really don't want to force it any more than that. Now that that is on, I can take this and I can figure out that I want to put this over on this side for ease of access for future battery replacement. So if I can just take this and put that discreetly against that side. I appreciate the slack, C&A. All right, so now we should just be able to take this, put that back, and then we will do a pedal switch demo. So that's one feature I want to talk about with the C&A Props design is they do kind of have a mode in their own sense. So if you turn this on, if you do a light press, I can't win with this. That was a full press apparently. So this is where I'm trying to figure out what they consider a light press. I mean, like, how light do you have to go? Demoing a light press. That's a full press. I will say I like that the light is cool. I dig the light, but I am not getting consistent pedal pushes here. I'm only getting full open, full close. And now it's not even opening, it's just fogging. And now the fogger turned off, but the trap opened. So in order to close it, now it's fogging, but the trap's closed. And now the fogger is off, but the trap is open. I cannot get consistency. So there you go, that's comparing all three foggers separately, also showing how to install the pedal switch separately for each manufacturer. Now what I want to do is I want to lay them all next to each other and really do a deep dive into the build out and the design and some of these little features that I noticed along the way. So here we are with all three foggers next to each other. You can really see some of these interesting design choices that each manufacturer has made. So as I mentioned earlier, the Wasteland Industries, they have a front-facing fan. Obviously, we already talked about the open design. So really here, when this smoke comes out, it does come out under the fan, but because there's no chute, and what I mean by that is a cover that really directs the air, some of it does hit this wall here, and it has nowhere to go, so it just kind of backs out and comes up. So this one is a little bit more of a diffused fog look. That's just a preference. And, you know, taking a look at here, you know, I do appreciate some of this, you know, danger, caution striping here that they did. The build quality of this is actually very good. It's very thick, 3D printed, feels very solid, doesn't flex. I just wish that, I don't like the fact that this is technically always on. I mean, I guess it's not, like, the only true way to find out that it's off is you pull the battery out. But there's no recharging capability unless you take the rechargeable battery out and then you charge that separately. So, but yeah, if you are looking for just a fogger, and maybe you live closer to the Netherlands, this might be a very good economical version for you. So let's move on to Right Coast Props. Here you're going to see that they have a rear-facing fan. There's this only one vent here. Everything else is sealed. This 3D printed material is excellent as well. I do kind of like this look. Now, once again, you don't really see this once it's in the trap too much, and I do appreciate them, you know, numbering each individual fogger as well. The on-off switch, USB on top for convenience for recharging. But yeah, a rear-facing fan. And then the C&A one. theirs is in the center. So just interesting concepts here. And so let's open these last two up. So there's the C&A. I love that magnetic door on the right, Ghost Props. So here we go. You can kind of see some differences in layouts here. For C&A, the reason or the capability how they're able to do it is you'll see where the smoke comes out, it goes into this chute and go right under that center fan. Very clever, and gives a very cool effect. So at this point, what I want to do is I'm going to go back to the desk. I'm going to just kind of go through some of my personal thoughts of how I think these rank up and see if you agree or not. I am genuinely curious what you guys think is personally my fogger, the one that I bought, and who the other two loaners are. So as a side note, for real, like, not part of the criteria, no matter what fogger you go with, whether it is Wastelands or whether it's C&A Props or brand X or whatever, do yourself a favor, pick up the roasted marshmallow from Right Ghost Props. Like, that one takes the cake. It just does. What was it called? The Ecto Elixir from C&A Props did have some type of sweet smell to it. Can't put my finger on it, but the fog liquid from Wastelands was completely unscented, just smoke, but actually having like a prominent, bold scent of the roasted marshmallow took the sensory from just not visual, but also like an experience. Whatever brand you go with, whether it's not even one of these three, pick up some roasted marshmallow. That's my one, like, do that out of this video. So here we go, let's break it down. Build quality. I'm gonna say, like, giving it kind of like first, second, third place. Build quality, I'm actually gonna give second place to Wasteland Industries. Even despite not having this top, I'm talking about build quality right now. Aesthetics will be a separate category. This is solid. I like the fact how solid this box is, the cage, whatever you want to call it, and the wiring. Even though you see it, it's very well wired. The wires are a thicker gauge, and yeah, it just overall is laid out clean, and the construction is very well done. First place for build quality, I'm going to give to Right Ghost Props. I love this sealed closed design. The 3D printed box, I don't know what you want to call this, I guess I'll just call it the fogger. The 3D printed fogger is top notch. The magnetic door is brilliant, and just everything in here. This has the thickest gauge wire of all three of them. The layout is the cleanest, and every other component that you get, which was that PCB board, the power switch, all of those fantastic quality all throughout. And you do pay for it, which we'll get to later. So third place, I'm gonna give to C&A Props. It's not bad by any means, but you can just tell by holding it, it's the lighter of the three. The 3D printed material, it just is, you know, you can kind of see the lines. And one thing too is, as little as I have taken this in and out of the trap, I can already kind of see a couple scuff marks on here just from turning the trap over and having it slide out. I think my biggest gripe was the so even in here, so some of this wiring here is some of the thinnest gauge wiring I've seen, and there's a lot of like slack, so not much is cut to length, and that's very prominent with the pedal switch. They gave you slack to put against that inner wall, which I appreciated more than the Wastelands placement of their pedal switch, which had to go on the base, which that didn't make any sense because now it's inside the trap and the on-off switch is with that, it's inside the trap. So I don't know how you turn that conveniently on and off without opening the trap up. But the wires for that pedal switch. They are kind of like exposed solder, so there's no heat shrink wrap. Where you go to the Right Coast Props, I mean, everything in here is either connected or heat shrink, and especially with that pedal switch. So, first place, Right Coast Props for build quality. Second place, Wasteland. Third place, C&A. Let's go to the next category, aesthetics. I will start with Wastelands again. I'm going to give this third place, just because this is just me. I don't really like seeing the guts of the unit. I do like Right Coast Props and C&A Props where they had that kind of closed up. So if you do look in the trap, you just don't see the magic. It kind of breaks the illusion a little bit. So first place, I'm going to go to Right Coast Props again for aesthetics. Just overall clean look, everything. Also I had to include the extras, right? And so the power switch on the trap that we installed with that blue LED light, just through and through, it's a very pleasing kit. And second place for aesthetics, I'm giving to C&A Props. So let's go into the smoke effect. I will start with Wastelands again. I'm gonna give Wastelands third place. I think it's not bad. Is this open ceiling design? Yeah, they have atomizer here go right under the fan, but not all of it just goes through that fan. It just kind of spreads out, so it's not really directed. It's a more diffused look. It's just a little soft. Let me go to Right Coast Props. Right Coast Props, I'm gonna rank their smoke effect second place. I like it because it's sealed. It has nowhere to go. It just has to go through that chute and go to that fan, and it comes out, and it looks beautiful. It does look very, very nice. First place for smoke effect, I am going to go to C&A Props. I don't know what magic it is. I think it has to do something with that light. But it also might be because the fact is it's in the center. So there might be a 2-for-1 going here. I said it earlier, it exacerbates the effect of how much fog's coming out. I don't think there's actually more fog coming out really of either one. But C&A makes it look like that because of that light. And it just really, it looks like a decent amount is coming out more than it is. Let's talk about features and modes here. So for features and modes, what other things can you do? Well, with Wastelands, you get a remote like all the others, and then you get the pedal switch, and that pedal switch is basically doors open, smoke comes out, you hit it, doors close, and smoke stops. There's not really a mode. So Wastelands will get third place. Should be no surprise that first place is Right Coast Props. The fact that they were able to get that pedal switch with that board and that power switch, and you can toggle between a mode by holding that pedal down for, I think it was like 7, 8, 9 seconds or something like that, and switch between a mode of saying, hey, I want to fog when the doors come up and stop when the doors go down, which is actually mode 2, but mode 1 is doors open, and then once they close is when the fog activates, just like a 1984 look, and then it has an auto timer and it shuts off for you. Yeah, the features, the modes, and they work consistently. That is the key thing. And second place, I'm gonna go to C&A Props. They are supposed to have a mode about a light press and a hard press. I did not have great success with that. I got it to work some of the times. There were more than half the time I was not able to get that to work. So it sounds like the capability is there. I just don't know if there might be a faulty pedal switch that I'm dealing with, or if it's just nature of the beast. But the fact is, you can still have that option. That's why it does outrank Wastelands, because there should be a capability for that to happen. And last but not least, this is the most subjective, the value category, but I'm just going to tell you how it was for me. And this is based on where I live, which is in the United States. So I can only tell you how it was for these 3 foggers. So let me start with Wasteland Industries. Initially, I thought that this was going to be the most economical version and possibly a good value. But when you get this, just the fogger with no pedal switch is $110. If you want to add on the pedal switch, it's another $13 to $15. I believe it came up to $123. And if you live in the United States, that has to ship from the Netherlands. So that brings it up to about $153 US. And then if you don't have any batteries, you need to buy a rechargeable battery and a recharger for the rechargeable battery, plus 2032s for the pedal switch, which costs you another $26, bringing this up to a total of $179 is what this had to go up to. But for third place, I'm giving to Wasteland Industries because there were so many add-ons to the base price, and having to buy batteries, the rechargeable battery, that came in third place. Second place for value would be Right Coast Props. Right Coast Props does come in at the highest. This was about $196 shipped. It's the most expensive, but you're getting the most. You're getting so much out of all three, so you are paying for that. Bang for the buck though, C&A Props, I am giving that first place at $125. You're getting a great design. It looks great. The smoke effect is phenomenal. And yeah, it came in at the lowest. So it's hard to beat that. But let me know what you think. So let me say who the winner is. The winner is us. The winner is us consumers, because we have these three foggers. We have three foggers at three different price points, and they all fog. It just depends on what you want to get out of it, your budget, and the features that you're looking for. So the winner is us. So I'll finally reveal which fogger is personally mine and the one I bought. I bought the Wasteland Industries. Why is that? Well, when I bought the Wasteland Industries, Right Coast Props was not available because they're so popular that it was just sold out and there was a wait list. C&A Props design didn't exist yet. It wasn't released. So I bought the one that was available, the one that I could get. Recommendation. I want to talk to two groups of people. So I will talk to the fans out there and the consumers first. So my recommendation is obviously still take into effect what is the features that you're looking for, and obviously consider your budget, but they all fog. So whichever one you're able to snatch up is the one I'm gonna say is a great choice. The other recommendation I want to talk to is I want to throw this back really to the vendors. Vendors, clearly there are a demand for these foggers. They are selling as soon as you can make them. So my recommendation to vendors is to ramp up production. I'm gonna put it back on you. Start ramping these up because people clearly want them. Just remember, there is no perfect fogger. As you can tell, none of them got a perfect score. They all do have their own features and at different price points. The Wasteland Industries, if you just want smoke, you can get your foot in the door at a relatively inexpensive price as long as you already have those batteries on hand. The Right Coast Props, just so much going on to it, a fantastic package. And C&A Props, fantastic idea with that center stack vent and that center light. If there's any vendors out there that are hearing me or listening, perhaps take a page from that and integrate a light into one of your models or an upcoming version. So if you enjoyed today's video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions about the foggers, or if you want to tell me which fogger you went with or what you might go with now, leave a comment below. And if you haven't done already, please subscribe. Catch you guys next time. Out. So there you go, that is my open and honest review of all three foggers ranked from build quality, aesthetics, smoke effect, features, modes, value. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up. I'm curious to know which fogger either you already bought or you're thinking about buying, or maybe this video has helped you decide. I'm curious which one that might be. Leave a comment below. There is no perfect fogger. As you can see, none of them have gotten a perfect score. Who knows? Maybe another fogger will come out. Maybe the perfect fogger does exist.